the way that big pharma and the way that the pharmaceutical companies in this country push for opioids, for these painkillers that only cause secondary symptoms so that you have to go back to the doctor. I mean, think about it. If
What do you mean a
doctors actually
painkiller
did
causes
their-
a secondary symptom?
If
A
doc-
painkiller is prescribed if you are experiencing pain. That's what a painkiller is for. They don't cure things, they treat a symptom.
They prescribe opioids like they hand out candy at Halloween.
No, they don't. They've dramatically cut down
Yes,
on the
they
prescriptions
do.
for opioids, obviously, because they were prescribing too many in the past. That's fine.
And
You
why
learn.
is,
Same thing
why
with
is it so easy
amoxicillin.
to get them? When I had a very, 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 very minor surgery, and they were trying to give me Oxycontin, they were trying to give me so many of these opioids that I didn't need any. I didn't even need Tylenol. They're pushing this stuff because if you think about it, if doctors actually did their job, they would go out of business. If they actually helped people get healthier and stay healthier.
Well, sometimes people are in pain. Sometimes people are in a lot of pain.
Yeah, that's fair. When they actually need it, that's fair.
There's a degree, the system's not perfect. They prescribe opioids when you're in pain, and sometimes they, overdo it. Like I was prescribed Adderall when I was younger. Did I need it? Probably not. Do a lot of kids need it? Yes. Is it a perfect prescription process? Probably not.
I would argue that kids don't need it. I would argue that there's other methods and other ways to
some
fix
kids
it.
need it. Some people need opioids.
I've grown up with immense anxiety. Have I been prescribed anxiety meds? Many times. I've actually been pushed to take these antidepressants and this medication. I never once have taken it. I took the proper way. I went to therapy. I took care of my health. I got into fitness. I improved my diet.
There's a degree. Like sometimes you need medicine, sometimes you don't. Sometimes,
yeah, I can see that. The way that
some people need opioids if you're in a lot of pain, and
I mean, I just think it's like maybe I'm hypercritical of our government, but I think maybe you're not critical enough.
No, it's not even being critical. And so you don't live in the real world, right? If you want to talk about health outcomes, conservatives are fatter. Conservatives are fatter. They are less healthy than liberals. They get less exercise and then tend to eat shittier diets. So we're looking at this like pure health. If we tend to eat pure health, if you want, listen, I know you like to live in anecdotes. Download Tinder and go to. I lived in fucking Nebraska. Let me tell you, the girls on Tinder in Nebraska are a lot different than the girls in LA, Miami, New York, Seattle, Portland. It's not even fucking close. Okay. So yes, conservatives tend to be fatter. They tend to be less healthy. They tend to have worse health outcomes. That's why more of them died to COVID because more of them were fat and they died because they were more. Hold on, let me finish. You got a whole ass thing, okay? You want to talk about you don't like drugs because you think that the pharmaceutical companies are just trying to make money off of all of us and that's all they're doing, but you don't even support the most ideal form of preventative care. I'm guessing. Well, hold on. Let me ask a question. How did you feel about the vaccines?
The vaccines was terrible.
There you go. See, so that's the thing. That's a thing that big pharma did research into, and vaccines are technically bad for pharma because why would you give somebody a vaccine for an illness when you could treat them for the illness over and over and over again? So that's an example of pharmaceutical companies that research things and invest in things. So you're sitting here saying, I don't believe in ADHD medication. I believe in Eastern medicine. And then you're saying, because even though you have no research to back it, and then you'll go turn around and say, I don't believe in vaccines either. So what do you believe? You believe in nothing. You have no data. You've got no sources. You've got no science. You've got no outcomes. You've got the fact that conservatives are fatter and less healthy. You've got the fact that conservative states don't even want to feed their fucking kids in school. Everything you're making is just like a delusional argument. It's not rooted in reality for any single part of this. There's nothing to respond to.
Okay, so now that your rant's done, let's look at actual statistics. The increase that we're seeing with autism specifically not only is directly related to an increase in the certain amino acid, what was it called? PPA, I believe it's called. I have it right here, actually. AAH. AAH, not only in these foods and our preservatives, and food dye has increased autism numbers, but vaccines have as well. Not only that, but vaccines have so many adverse side effects. We can look at the COVID vaccine in specific, how we see individuals like a friend of ours in my hometown that was one of the healthiest people I have met. Runner, super healthy diet, took care of herself. She got vaccinated. They found her dead at the bottom of her stairs because her heart gave out.
Isn't that sorry, not to jump. Isn't that an anecdote though? Like most people didn't. That's not what happened to most people.
No, bro, that's common sense.
I don't know, but there's individuals that have gotten the vaccine. We have, and I know it's another anecdote, but we have another family friend that was trying to have a baby and post. But why are we seeing this? Because if you give 300 million people the vaccine, there's also real life, but there's also real life living. When you see these people that are being affected by this, I mean, there's a reason why when I was born, I only had to get 5 vaccines. My friend that had a baby, and babies now that are being born, they're close to 47 vaccines.
How old? What are you, like 150 years old? How old are you?
I'm 24.
And you only had to get 4 vaccines?
I had to get 5. Yeah.
I don't believe you. I don't think that's true.
Well, actually, can I ask a question about that? So, and then Destiny, Steven, I want to challenge you about something. But Luke,
I'm challenged right now. Trust me.
You what?
This is a challenging conversation. Don't worry.
Luke, how do you feel about like the smallpox vaccine?
Oh wait, also, just as a quick thing, because it's funny to listen to him talk. Notice how like if some guy is like suffocating on his own fucking phlegm and breath, and he's dying of COVID in the hospital, conservatives will be like, well, it didn't count as a COVID death. He was also obese. He also had like this underlying illness. He had that. That's not a COVID death. But like if somebody gets vaccinated and then they drop dead from a random fucking thing, 3 days ago, it was 100% a vaccine caused death. Like at that, all we need is the one vaccine, and we know that no matter why they died, it was caused by the vaccine. Like it's ridiculous. But
Luke, what do you think about the smallpox vaccine? Is that legit?
I mean, I think that's up to the parent whether they want their child to get it or not.
Get smallpox or not? You mean, or
no, to get the vaccine? I mean, there's certain vaccines that I would argue that the chances of a child getting it now in our country is far outweighs potential benefit of not getting it.
But if you get smallpox,
what do you attribute the dramatic increase in autism diagnosis to if you won't attribute it to anything related to vaccines or to our diet and the science that's showing the impact of these 1,000 ingredients that are banned in Europe?
Why do we think? Wait, why do we think that? Why is the chance of getting smallpox so low?
That wasn't my question.
No, but I'm curious. You said that the chance of getting it is so low today. Wait, why is it?
Smallpox has been eradicated because of vaccines. This is what Steven's getting at. Smallpox is eradicated effectively because of vaccines.
Okay, but that wasn't my question.
Wait, is that true though? Were smallpox eradicated because of vaccines?
Oh, I'm not some like crazy hippie guy that says don't get a single vaccine, but you need to have an awareness of it's a benefit versus risk argument.
Was smallpox eradicated because of vaccines?
I haven't gotten the flu vaccine in close to 15 years.
Okay.
I'm just curious. The flu.
What about that though? Was smallpox eradicated because of vaccines?
Yeah, I'm not making that argument.
Would smallpox have been eradicated if you just got a vaccine for smallpox if you wanted to, or was it eradicated because everybody was forced to get vaccinated against it?
I mean, that's an interesting argument to make.
No, it's not. It's
I don't know.
Straightforward.
I don't know but you can't make the claim that it specifically was eradicated because everybody got it.
Do you think if only 20% of the population got it, you think it would have been eradicated?
I mean, you can look at like something like the flu. The numbers of people getting the flu has dramatically decreased from say 2000 to now.
Has it?
Yes.
Don't flu deaths fluctuate pretty ordinarily between like 10 and 60,000 a year?
No.
I mean, some vaccines are good, right?
Risk. Like I said, it's benefit versus risk. People can eat how they want. People can live whatever lifestyle they want, but the risk is a lot higher. I think the one thing that I will give Gavin Newsom credit for, and I'll probably bite my tongue for this, is he's pushing to ban food dyes from our candy, from our food, because the effects of this is detrimental. I mean, it's a petroleum.
Why does it make it look like hospitalization and deaths for the past like 10, 15 years for the flu have been like kind of like up and down? Like,
I'm talking about something else. I feel like I bring up solid points and then you kind of just
well, you don't bring up anything. You bring up like anecdotes and random fact, and then when I fact check you, you're always wrong. You're wrong on literally everything, and then you want to move on to the next thing, of course, because you have no data to back anything.
That's where your mindset is at.
Yeah, in the factual world, I'm aware.
You can't admit to these things that are happening. So you don't believe that consuming a petroleum-based food dye is going to have an adverse effect on your health? Yes or no?
I don't know. In the long term, it probably depends on the amount that you consume, and it probably depends on other lifestyle factors as well.
So something like petroleum that should not be consumed by people, you think would just
petroleum sounds like bad. Probably you shouldn't eat petroleum if you can get, but maybe it's this is what I was talking about. It's called
propionic fatty acid. It's a short chain fatty acid that is one of the most prevalent preservatives that they're attributing to an increase in autism numbers. Do you think it's beneficial to have less autism diagnoses?
I would say so, yeah.
So then shouldn't we look at the very likely causes of these increases?
Sure. If it's not so would you be in favor? I mean, like, here's
okay,
sure. Well, here's one. Would you be in favor of banning red meat?
But again, you're throwing things out there. You're throwing red herrings out there.
No, I'm not. I'm asking. I say, okay, we ban the food dyes. We ban all the food dyes. Okay, and then next, would you be in favor of banning red meat?
No, and I know the argument.
So you have no, yeah. So you have bullshit. Nothing. You don't mean anything you're saying.
My
diet,
most
insane fucking shit I've ever heard in my entire life.
I'm jumping in, Luke. What he's saying is that. No,
he knows what I'm saying. He understands what I'm saying.
Well, he thinks you're using a red herring with red meat. And I don't
it's not a red herring. He just has no principles. He doesn't care. These are all just like buzzwords and shit. He probably eats. He probably has like a whole can of like dyed food that he eats for fun, like on the side.
Luke,
the most like the yellow, the most cancerous, the most toxic food dye ever. He probably just drinks it raw.
Oh, so you can admit that it's cancerous, that it's doing something and it's causing these effects.
For the sake of argument, let's say it is. What Steven's saying is there's lots of things in our diet that are bad for us, like red meat. I think that's what Steven's saying. Is he's conceding.
I know that you're not a very big fan of these personal anecdotes. My diet consumes primarily of grass-fed red meat. My health has been the best it's been in years. I have probably 20 other people in my life that follow the same exact diet. They've had the same exact results.
Okay, I've had 30 people that I've known, and they all had like severe cancer diagnoses, and then they started to food dye yellow all their food, and their cancers went away without even getting chemotherapy.
Really? I really do not believe that.
They literally did. They all live in LA. I can give you their names.
Okay.
Steven, you're recording.